What's up, everybody? This is DTM Delta Tango Mike. Welcome to another show of the DTM versus Art Battle. That's right, DTM, that's me, Delta Tango Mike. I take on a contender, an artist contender, week after week, time after time. And let me tell you, the competition has been amazing. Oh my gosh. We got an amazing show for today. Before we get into that, let's say give a big shout out to everybody who's already joining us on Behance Land. Yes, and if you're watching this on Adobe Live, say what's up. If you are, I'm on Adobe Live on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, say what's up so we can know that you are there. If you don't leave a comment in the chat, then we don't know you're there. I want to know that you're rooting for DTM. Okay, you gotta vote for DTM. In any case, big ups to Annika for holding it down in the chat. Thank you, Annika, in the house. On the YouTube channel on Adobe Live, make sure you like and subscribe the YouTube channel for Adobe Live. Donovan is in the house. Thank you for stopping through. And of course, on Behance, I was the first one to leave a comment on Behance, okay? At least for this show, for this episode. Boom. Then Gareth in the house. Welcome for Gareth. Of course, I won't mention her name just yet, but D7A's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Artec Scribble, yes, he says this is super exciting. Welcome to the stream, everybody. So what is DTM Versus? And there's a cool little logo over there that I kind of just drew up. Basically, I challenge an artist, and we go toe-to-toe on a theme, on a subject, on an art style that is up to the artist who am I challenge. So it's their choice. They come up with the ideas, and I try to follow through. And most of the time, I try to match our styles, so that way it's a fair fight. Something like that. Let's go ahead and bring in our amazing, super talented guest. Hello, Melissa Showers. How are you doing today?
Hey, how are you? I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. And hello, everybody in the chat. I'm ready to rumble.
Oh, are you ready to rumble? That's right.
I'm ready.
As right before we get into the drawings and the sketches, I will mention that there is a link in the description of this video and in the chat where you can download the sketches. Melissa Showers, aka and Woman, has shared the drawings, the sketches that make up today's art challenge. I have shared the sketches also, and whenever I get to my screen, I'll show you how to get to them, and you can download each and every sketch that's used in every art battle, and I do include my final artwork, so that's a nice little surprise for those of you who click through it. Thank you very much. Dari in the house, thank you for stopping through. All right, so and Woman, tell us what we're looking at today. Where do those ideas come from? What's the idea we're going to work on today?
So, for today, we are doing an AI female robot in outer space. Lots of kind of space themes have been inspiring me lately, and I wanted to get it into fresco, battle it out with you, see what you come up with. We both, I think, have some similarities in our sketches, but yeah, today is basically how can we animate this AI robot and get her going in fresco with a bunch of planets kind of hovering around in the background.
Whoa. Okay, and that is a challenge for real, for real. And please check out Ann Woman's Behance profile for more of that amazing art. And Melissa does stream very often, so you can catch up some of those streams so you can learn how to do some of that art. Big ups to those of you joining us on YouTube. We got Rob Prod, Meredith, Tony, Kyle. I think these are Melissa's fans
They're,
joining us.
they're my peeps from work.
Oh yes, and Gunner, thank you, welcome. But
Oh,
make sure you vote for
yay.
Dan. Vote for Dan.
No, vote for me.
All right, let's go ahead and open up our frescoes to get started. Adobe Fresco is the app that we're working in. Tell us, Melissa, why do you like Adobe Fresco? One of the
I like
reasons.
yeah, I mean, there's many reasons for sure. I like Adobe Fresco because I feel like I can start and finish here. I don't have to jump out to Photoshop or Illustrator necessarily. You can also animate in Fresco, which I love. So I'm just kind of been using it for the last 3 years and haven't stopped. I'm on it every day. Love it so much.
Yeah, and I like that combination of animation And but also to me, there's a sketching and then into finished artwork, like all in
Yep.
one app. Yes. Oh my gosh. So tell us about your process. Tell us what you got going on your screen. I see some reference images.
Yes. So I am a big fan of reference images. I think they're really important. A lot of times, when you get started with something, you kind of need to get ideals going for
Mm-hmm.
proportions, especially if it's a human. Even though in this case we have an AI robot. So I wanted to include, human facial features, and then also I needed a little inspiration for kind of the robot gear. So I actually prompted this image in an AI generator app and just kind of went from there and pulled it into my Fresco app and have it on a separate layer so that I can reference it as I begin these kind of base sketches.
Awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
I love references, especially, you want to see how other artists have rendered something in particular, get some tips and a good start. I will have to acknowledge the Melissa fan club on YouTube. They're going off. Oh my gosh.
Yes. They are my family at work. I work at Ceros. I'm an interactive art director, and I was able to get off work today to join you today, and I made sure everybody was aware of this. So
Uh-huh.
they're going to go off in that chat, I can
Oh,
tell you.
oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot of votes right there. Gunnar, Maddie, Joe, Meredith, and Encore. Oh my gosh. Okay, 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 okay. All right, so let's get to work. So I see you got some references. I'm gonna share both of our screens right now. I have a few references myself. This is the initial sketch that I worked on when Ann Woman sent me the prompts and the sketches, and I like that idea. I like the idea of the planets. I don't stare at the sky enough, but I like seeing like other worlds and imagining these other places. What makes you think of these planets? What makes you think of AI robot in space?
I'm kind of obsessed with robots at the moment and like humanoid robots.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Obviously, with all of like the AI technology kind of running rampant, it's in the forefront. And I've always loved space. So I just kind of felt like, why not combine them together and, utilize these really great animation tools that Fresco has to
Mm-hmm.
animate the planets at the end. But yeah, big fan of space, big fan of all that good stuff. Sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
just I love it all. So
We don't have flying cars, but AI, the fact that AI exists now and is doing art and creating the chat GPT and all that stuff, we are in the future. Like somehow that you feel like this is sci-fi.
yeah, it really does feel that way. And,
Mm-hmm.
all the things we were promised in the 80s, we may not have hoverboards, but we're getting closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yep, it's getting closer and closer. So as N woman is sketching, look at that, super fast sketching. Oh my gosh, like is that how you do it? Like real loose and
Yeah,
yeah.
real loose to start. Yep, real loose to start.
And you're a lefty. I can see your hand.
Yes, I'm a lefty. It's a curse and a blessing. At least in the iPad, I don't have to worry about getting like pencil and paint all over my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you
Mm-hmm.
know, don't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about that. But
Right.
yeah, just starting with some loose sketches. I always like to kind of get the base layer going
Mm-hmm.
and make sure like, proportions and everything is kind of in frame.
Mm-hmm.
So she's definitely evolved through this sketch. And like right now, of course, I'm just kind of drawing a little bit of a sketch over my existing layers,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of give everybody an idea of how I begin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always really basic shapes to start.
Yeah. Did you go to school for art, and is that something that you learned, this sketching process?
I did. I went to the Art Institute of Houston and I took the first 2 years drawing an anatomy class where, we were not using iPads.
Mm-hmm.
We were, this is in the late 90s and we were using live models and lots of sketches, live sketching to get anatomy down. And
Mm-hmm.
then, with that, lots of fast sketches. So we were told, you have 1 minute to sketch this, you have
Uh-huh.
30 seconds, just to get
Mm-hmm.
loose. And so the more you kind of find your groove, the easier it becomes as an artist. So,
Right.
yeah, lots of art school, took art lessons growing up, just always knew I wanted to be an artist of some sort. Never knew how that would be possible for me to make money and survive, but you know,
That's
we're
always
here.
that's that final quest right there, isn't it? That
Yeah,
final challenge.
it is. It definitely is.
Big F's to I mentioned your names, but I see new names now on YouTube: Meredith, Ankur, Corey, Erica, Tony, Chenwen. Oh my gosh! But
Corey's my husband, and Encore is his coworker, and then the rest are people from my job. So thank you all for joining so very much, and thanks for everyone also in the chat on Behance, Odari, Gareth, Annika, so many people. D, this is so great that
awesome.
everybody's in the chat.
There you go. You brought two sets of coworkers and to vote. That's awesome. Loves Data is my wife on YouTube joining us. She says DTM,
Nice.
DTM, DTM. And of course, thank you to Annika who says go DTM. Haha. Balancing things out. Gotta have some balance. That's right.
That's right.
Uma
Um,
Korn, Muwanda, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Behance chat. So let me go ahead and share my artwork and what happened here. So I got Melissa's sketches and I was like, whoa. And if you've seen her artwork, you'll be amazed too. And so I said, I gotta go in on this drawing. And so this is one of the first ideas that I had. And I had this model in mind. I was like, I love the angle of the face. I love how she's looking. It's like great. Got a little bit of neck and shoulders, so I can add like a spacesuit. That's what I was thinking. And so as I started to draw, I lost that sketchy, easy flow of the face. And so I went in and I started to clean up the face. And I think it went all the way cartoon. And I was cool with it, but I was like, yeah, it's a little bit not right. So I went and found another pose, and I said, you know what? Let me go with this. And so when I first started working on the sketches, which you can download from the link that we've shared with you, the this is one of the models poses that I found. I was like, I like this. I think I can work with this, but I never used it. So I said, okay, this is the time to use it now. And so my process is the same. You sit there and start sketching, and you know, boom, shapes. I like with shapes, and like this one's really easy. Like got a little triangle going on here, a neck, the face, the head, the ears. Boom. I like the separation of the face. And woman did it the same thing there. Boom. You know, just go ahead and get your start thinking about your proportions first, and
mhm.
composition. You know, what's in this picture? What's this picture about? Boom, bam. And then I think it's just too long, so I start going like this. Start chopping things up, getting rid of things. Your art style and woman is very fluid and sketchy. Is that something that you practice a lot? Because you mentioned traditional media. Is that something you've done a lot with traditional media and pencils? What's your favorite media when it
Yeah,
comes?
I mean, I started actually when I was really little. I used to like sketch with Xerox paper and pen, like
Mm-hmm.
ballpoint pen,
Mm-hmm.
and just like stacks of it. And then as I got older, I really fell in love with Prismas. So that's probably part of what you're seeing. You know, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
like rough, sketchy look.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fresco app, the pencil, the Adobe Fresco pencil itself is one of my favorites. It just really feels like a true pencil, and it feels like a soft HB. So if I,
Mm-hmm.
just share how, I'm pushing harder, lighter on my stylus, it just really is kind of true to an actual pencil. So I think I would say like Prismacolors were my favorite growing up. And then I kind of branched out into painting, which was much harder to control for me. I prefer to be very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got on the iPad and started experimenting between like vector and pixel in Adobe Fresco, I love vector. I actually used to only do vector in Adobe Illustrator,
Mm-hmm.
but now that I'm in Fresco using my stylus, I've kind of opened myself back up to the world of pixel and sketching. So right now I'm kind of in that mode of like sketching with my Adobe Fresco pencil and then going back with the smudge tool as if it was a smudge tool
Mm-hmm.
in real life, and then and kind of blending things together. And that's usually how I like to get started through these different levels of sketching, is just keep layering on the sketch, blending it, and then layering in another one. And so I have a lot of different layers here.
Ooh.
So I've kind of saved them at each stage.
Mm-hmm.
I have like hundreds of layers, which I know you love too,
Mm-hmm.
because if you mess up, you always have something to go back to.
Right.
So yeah.
So you, instead of you sketching on one layer and then cleaning up on a second layer and then detailing the third layer, you kind of stay in the same layer and keep adding to that one layer. And at some point, you will duplicate so that you save a version of that layer and then continue working on that one main layer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think for this stream, I definitely saved more layers than usual because I was like, man, I gotta beat Dan. So I have got to make sure I've got it together. And if I mess up, then I need to have backups. I also probably duplicated this fresco file like 10 times just
Yes.
in case it
Yep.
crashed.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I just kind of just keep duplicating those layers like you said, and then as we get through like different layers of the sketch, you'll see where color is added. So and then I end up merging them together and then keeping a final of this stage and then moving on to the next stage where I'll add more refinement and more detail.
I see. I see. Big ups on YouTube. Donovan says, Donovan in here too. Don't forget Donovan. Melly
Oh,
Mel.
Donovan. That's my sister's boyfriend. Thanks for
All
joining.
right. The whole family, Louise says,
Yeah,
yes, Melissa. Awesome. Awesome. Don't forget Behance. We got you, Behance.
I
Behance
got
is yes, come on. You guys are going to have to all vote for me. Everybody. Kavendra, welcome to the stream. Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
This is super cool, and I'm gonna ask as I switch over to share a bit of my screen. Boom, turn this off. That's what I not the link, not the picture. You go boom. So it looks like a lot of blues in your sketches, in your streams, in your women drawings. What's up with the blue?
Yeah, so I kind of like went back to basics, and I know a lot of artists sketch in blue pencil when they get started with something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of been what I was taught growing up, going to art school and in college. So I just kind of started that again, but I end up keeping a lot of the blue. I like it a lot, and it just kind of is easy to look at for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but then as I move out of the sketch layers, I tend to add more color. So
Uh,
that's where, it's kind of tricky because, I have to decide like how much of the blue am I going to remove and how much am I
mm-hmm.
going to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So for this next kind of grouping of layers, as I hide all of these top layers, this was kind of the final sketch going into the next round. And then now I'm gonna, further refine it by, changing out the proportions of her face a little bit more and adding more detail, losing a lot of that highlight that I had initially. Also, adding hair. So there's a lot of small details that keep getting layered upon. And then you
Mm-hmm.
lose I tend to lose the blue as I work up, if that makes
Okay. Okay.
sense.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know, my blue story starts with watching comic book artists and how they draw with the blue pencil to for the non-photo blue purpose.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and I told myself, if professional artists are drawing with blue pencils, then I'm gonna draw with blue pencils.
That's right. That's right. And that used to be kind of the way that things worked
Hmm.
with comics. I'm sure it still is too today.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I definitely add some blue. One of my art mentors, he sketches all in color pencils. And a long time ago, when I first met him, I was like, "How do you sketch with color pencils?" And it never occurred to me just grab my colored pencils instead of the number two pencil. Go into some, grab your crayons and go with that. And I was like, oh man, that's super smart. Make
Yes. Yeah,
make
it is. That was a smart tip for that
mm-hmm.
transition. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. So here's my character now. I'm working on a bit of color in here just for fun. And so doing a sci-fi AI robot pinup, I decided to add a little bit of an Olmec headdress, helmet, some old school 90s and 80s, really 80s robot um, illustrations, and it was very popular back in those days. People had those posters in their house, and I was like, yeah, let me just add a few things like that, and so I started to work on that, and so I finished mostly my planets, and when I reveal them real soon, because we already 20 minutes in, oh my gosh, that's so fast. Uh, I'm going to start try to animate some of these because uh, and woman draws and then animates in fresco. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I can also share kind of and reveal mine as well. But yeah, I love animating, and I'll kind of share the finished project. I still need to work on a few things,
mm-hmm.
but here is basically the finished piece. And we tested this before we jumped on live. Let's hope if I press play that this doesn't crash my fresco. So
Right.
I animated everything here, and you can see we have a lot going on. We have all the planets. They're kind of hovering at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We have the background animation. We have the stars. She's also blinking. So I love to animate my characters and kind of make them come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make it look like she had like this kind of hole like in her head to just kind of see what the background looks like. So
Mm-hmm.
if you zoom in, you can see that there's stars in the background and things are moving. And we've also got layers for her eyes blinking, which is super easy to do. The animation in Fresco using the timeline is super easy. It's just frame by frame. And then all these planets, like you said before, I have so many layers in here. It's terrifying to even go into these groups because I'm like, which planet is where?
Uh-huh.
Um, but I decided, I wasn't sure if maybe there were too many planets. I didn't know if I wanted to animate them individually. So there was a lot of things to kind of work through.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a lot of layer properties going on. So that also is something to take into consideration as the colors merge with the background.
Mm-hmm.
Things look different. So lots going on here, and I think I'm just gonna kind of work on very fine details at this point that I need to kind of wrap up to kind of complete this.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions because there's a big jump right here. How smooth that face looks like that. Oh, it's so yeah, there you go. So that's the technique, right? Using the
Soft, yep. Yeah, soft round opacity tool. It's a pixel brush. It's kind of like an airbrush, but I can go into this layer group and you can see like kind of, some of the different layers we have going on here. But yeah, that all those previous layers were smudged and finally we got to this very smooth face. As far as like the robot aspect of things and kind of what she had going on, I knew that I wanted to. She looked a little too much like an alien here, and I wanted to make her look more like a robot.
mm-hmm.
So I created, this kind of outfit with, the helmet and all of the rest, kind of based off of the reference photo here, which was really helpful. And then, we've got a lot of layer properties going on. So this layer here is overlay in the layer properties. If I was to change it, it would look different. So
Oh
this is
wow.
how she started. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, actually, this is how she started. If I go to normal, it's just similar.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I was like, I kind of want to play around with this because this is a really quick, easy way to do a sense check on color as well. So if you want to change the color, if you want it to blend in a little bit more, So if we do lighten, it looks a little more see-through. If we do, color dodge, it's gonna add different effects. So I just kind of like to play around. If you've ever watched me stream, I'll be stuck on this for a while, usually trying to figure out what color I like. And it might be boring for some people, but it's what it takes. And then when I'm finally happy, and I'll revisit the next day, and then I'll change it again. So it just depends on my mood, but I definitely wanted to give it some oomph and make it look make it kind of pop
Mm-hmm.
with all the different parts of her robot body. And then now just kind of going back to adding those last like highlights to her face to kind of really bring in some more depth.
Mm-hmm. But in the whole time is the same technique of the pencil and the blend modes. Pencil
Yes, but
blend modes. Pencil blend modes.
I also use vector,
Oh,
and I'll sketch with vector and then I'll go back and smudge it.
oh, what?
Yeah, just because I
Oh.
like to just because I like to sketch with vector because
Uh-huh.
it's more fun sometimes, and I have to change it up a little bit. So, uh,
Yeah.
it's I love drawing eyelashes in vector. So I would
Uh-huh.
do something like this where I would just create a new layer. It's going to give me a new layer in vector anyways because I'm switching from pixel to vector, and I'll draw her eyelashes. Let's say if I was to give her some more eyelashes, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back and convert it to a pixel layer, and then I'll smudge it depending on what I'm looking for the effect. I'll lower the strength a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
then I'll just smudge it a little bit to give it to make it blend a little bit more.
Gives it that painterly feel to it.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
it looks like a vector to start, but then convert it to pixel,
Yeah.
and then it's different.
I think it's one thing to keep in mind is that, when you're working digital or traditional, there's always a layering process that you should consider. And there's steps to it
Yep.
to get there. It's not a color by numbers. It's not a coloring page where you use one crayon to color one area and then a different color crayon for the other. It's kind of a pile of layers.
It is. It is. And yours is looking so good, by the way.
I'm trying to hurry up.
It looks awesome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Your fan club is going off on YouTube, and I'm already scared. I'm like, oh my god.
I need to get my YouTube chat up. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't believe I don't have that up.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
No, but thank you. Yes, I am working on adding some elements for the background. I want everything to be in space. And in the last 10 minutes of the before the voting period starts around the 40-minute mark. So get ready to follow through on the link that the amazingly talented Annika in the chat is going to share with us all in the chat in another 15 minutes or so. So in the last 10 minutes of my drawing, I want to focus on the animation because I think I'm gonna go simple with it, but I have an idea on how to make it look cool. And but I was really hoping to take my time and animate each planet, going around inside of its own section. But ooh, oh,
It's tough. I
uh,
know. I'm here to help you if you want help with the animation, but I was going to do the same thing, and then, when I started, I was like, yikes, this app is going to crash on me because I
mhm.
have so many planets, but I can show you how to quickly animate one of the motion path that's um, kind of cool. So I've got one selected now, one of my planets selected now, and if I go to my animation timeline, there's a path tool, so path animation,
Mhm.
and I can just basically draw a line,
Mhm.
and the planet is going to follow the line,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I played around with that a lot. You can also align to path, which makes it spin.
Uh huh.
And you can also add multiples. So you can add a bunch of planets. Um, Another cool thing that you can play around with, depending on what you're wanting things to look like in the end, is changing the layer properties. I'll have to go back out of this layer because I have a layer property for the entire. group, but let's say I was to hit up subtract, it's gonna change it obviously. This one made it a bit lighter, so if I go back in to here, everything will have that new layer property attached, and then if we hit play again, you can see all the planets going, but obviously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them going in front of her face, but that's just
Right.
a quick way to animate. And then if you don't like the path, you can just click on the little X and it will go away. You can draw multiple paths. You don't need to have multiple planet layers to do this. You can do it on the same layer,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool as well.
Okay. And that's the thing is like there's so many details that settings that you can adjust for that animation, and that's when my head starts to melt, and my brain, drips out my ears like what's happening?
It's a lot.
Like,
I'm telling you,
mm-hmm.
it's fun though. That's why I like also doing eyes because it's easy to make them blink,
Uh
and
huh. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. I could just do that, huh?
you could, and you know, it's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually what I do at the very end, just to make them come to life. But I can kind of demo that here. So I've got it zoomed in. And if I go to my frames, depends on, your frame rate. For doing 12 frames per second, I like to stick with that, 12 frames in the timeline. But then I'm just going to draw eyes
Mm-hmm.
closed and then
Oh.
make sure the frames that are next to it are clear, right? And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to time it to where I want her to blink in the middle of those 12 frames.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it set up on boomerang. So if you go into your settings, you can change the playback to loop,
Mm-hmm.
boomerang, or play once. So kind of like a cheating thing is like the boomerang. So then I don't like it to play once and then it just like jolts to stop and then it starts over.
Right.
So boomerang is kind of nice in that way to do it
Okay.
that way.
Yeah. Okay. Good tip. Right. Great tip. Thank you, Borderline. Says both are amazing. I appreciate that. Donovan says, Dan, goes hard, but Mel's got this in the bag. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Donovan, I
Thank
knew he
you.
would be throwing in the support.
That's right.
Oh, that's funny. I
Uh,
mean, they both really are amazing. Like yours reminds me so much of, even though, I don't, I'm sure you know this album cover, Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you talked about the robot, look from the 80s, like that's the first thing I thought of is, that style. And it really reminds me of that. I feel like both of ours are very different from each other, as far as like the style of drawing goes. But
Mm-hmm.
yours is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will take that compliment. That's right. Kavendra is asking on Behance, who will win the art battle today? Any guess? And Penny says both are really good.
Aw, thank
Yes.
you both, Penny and Kavindra.
Yes.
Everybody is so supportive.
And stay tuned for Penny, who I will battle in August.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see that. I cannot wait
Mm-hmm.
to see that.
So yeah, we got lots of battles coming up real soon. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm stacking all my layers into together so that I can animate that one layer. See if I can accomplish this in the time we have left. And so I have this layer selected. I'm gonna turn on the animation, and there's a way for just that layer to rotate. There's a thing to rotate, right? Let me see. Where is it?
Yes, align to path tool should allow that to rotate.
Let's see. So there's gonna be so click on the path settings. Let me see. Where do I go? I turn on the animation. Then I select play the path one, the path version.
Yep.
Oh, and then the effects. I don't see my effects popping up.
So you have to draw the path first,
Oh, okay, okay.
and then you'll get the panel will open.
But if I wanted to just rotate on this, like just like a circle, just go like this instead of moving.
So you have to play with it. So what I did for those animations
Hmm.
is you draw like a teeny tiny line in the center of your planet. probably like 5 pixels tall, like very small.
Mm.
And then you're gonna go into the properties panel for your animation, and then you're gonna go to
All right. So,
once you
I'm
yeah, once
still.
you get there, you let me know.
Okay, let me see. I did it. Oh, snap. Okay, okay, okay. Now it's
Okay.
showing. Oh my
Yeah.
God, look at that. Oh, snap. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. I got to go back and fix this because it's off. Let me see. Let me see this. Um, where is my circle? Yeah, that look cool. That look cool by itself. Like I could be done right now.
Now, if you hit when you go back to the path, and if you add sway to it, like just subtle, very subtle, it'll rotate for you. If you push that up or hit align to path, the whole thing will turn.
Okay, that's what I want. So now I'm on the right side. Sway, line to path. No,
Try
what?
align to path first.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Woo, that went crazy.
The only
Oh.
thing is, it doesn't do a smooth job. Even if
Uh-huh.
you like use ease in, ease out, it's not smooth.
Uh-huh.
So that was the one thing that was kind of a deterrent for me to make all the planets spin. I wanted them to spin on their Y or X out axis, whatever is the one that goes
Mm-hmm.
up and down, and spin like a real planet. But that looks cool too. You can also use sway instead of align to path. So if you turn off align to path, you can just try the
Oh, there it
sway.
goes. Uh-huh. That's cool. Okay. Sway
It kind of
that's so that.
bob back and forth.
Oh, I see. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. I'm learning something new, y'all. This is why you gotta watch these streams on Behance because there's always something new that you learn. And this is why I do my art battles and podcasts so I can ask artists questions and they tell me all the answers and show me all the ways in which I can, yes, push my art to the next level. That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, once you play around with that with the planets, I
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely want to see once it's done what it looks like.
Yeah, I would like for it to just to go around in circles nonstop, but that's not gonna work. I don't see that right now, and that's gonna take me a while to figure this out and watch some.
Yeah.
I probably need to go back to watch some Kyle T. Webster streams when he talks about animations. I should do that.
Just watch my streams and you
Oh,
can learn from me.
oh, there you go. Watch and woman streams. That's right. That's what I need to do.
Yes. I'm always doing animations, wild animations that crash fresco. So yeah, it's sometimes I'm surprised this one worked with all of these planets moving up and down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that I like the All right, so it's time. Okay, now we got time. I like the that bluish green in the background behind, right behind her neck. What are those? That
Yeah, so let me
the
yeah,
Northern
I can,
Lights, like. Uh huh.
yes, that's what I thought too. So if I hide her and I hide the planets and whatever else we have going on here, and I go into that layer, you can see like a few layer of these layers are animated. So this is just like a vector that I smudged, like a
Mm-hmm.
vector line that's green. That one's not animated. This one is another kind of halo on top of that. But then this one is animated. So when I hit play, what I did here, and it's really just trial and error, is I changed the layer property to divide. I added multiples. I scattered it. I made it grow and shrink. And so you have to just kind of play around with different things
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get that effect,
Wow.
and added the stars and all that good stuff. So
Oh.
everything is behind her.
Right. So you have to have multiple layers so that they do different things at
Yeah,
different
and
times.
yeah, so you can't just draw, for animation, you can't just draw everything on one layer. Also, another tip is if you start animating something, you can't really go back and change what it looks like or merge another layer into it. You have to delete the animation first.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. So you kind of pre-plan the idea, get the
Right.
artwork out, and then do animation. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Yep.
And that's
Hmm.
gonna take some practice. Like you're gonna have to practice that a little bit at a time till you get to
Yep.
that point. Yep. Okay. So if I stack these, boom. bam. So these are my background layers, and then each one of these, once I click on one, oh, I can click on the whole layer, animate it, and then I can go into each layer and do something different for each
Yep.
one. Okay.
Yep.
Let's
And I
see.
would suggest like animating or, adding multiples. At the top there, you can kind of add some multiples by the slider under path effects when you're in the timeline.
Uh-huh. So,
And
I see, I see.
yeah.
Oh, snap! Oh, whoa, that's beautiful. Oh my god.
Yes, and then you can scatter them if you don't want them too close together. You can make them grow or shrink. And you can change the speed. You can change it to be more random. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And if you notice like where your canvas is cutting off that layer, how it's like that sharp edge, what I like to do is bring in everything a lot like smaller and smudge it so that there's a clean,
Oh,
you know what
I
I mean?
see.
Like a clean edge. And then it doesn't look like it's cut off. Yeah.
Gotcha. But
Yeah.
but you gotta smudge it before you animate it. So if you animate it and it doesn't work right, you turn out the animation, go in and smudge it, and then
Yep.
you gotta get
Yeah.
that finger. That's why that little finger is right there. Let me see. Let me see. And so when you do this smudge, is there a particular smudge brush that you use?
There is. I just stick with soft round opacity, so it's the same like kind of airbrush feel,
Uh huh.
and you can change the strength and lower it. And if you only want to smudge a little bit, or you can also use the stylus pressure to change that as well.
And how do you change the smudge pressure?
So when you go to click on the smudge tool and you're
Uh-huh.
on soft round opacity, it gives you that little size bar where you can change the size.
Oh, really?
Right below it is the strength.
Down here. Ah, of course. What are you talking about?
Yep,
There
you
you go.
see?
There you go. Oh my gosh. That's it. I'm gonna get good. Uh huh. Oh yeah. Yes. This is the other realm. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. Tap that one. Path. And this one's gonna go like this. And there it goes. Oh yeah. And the multiples and the scatter.
There you
Mm-mm-mm.
go.
I love you.
Yep.
Yeah, all of you out there rooting for Melissa. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with the animation. See, look at how awesome that looks already, and you just took like a few seconds for that.
Yes, yes. So I will play with this some more because I do want the individual planets to then have their own rotation. So that means I have to draw more about the planet and how it turns. I want it to turn, you know?
Right,
Oh,
right.
just give myself work. That's all. All right, Annika says she's ready for the link, so let's go ahead and get the link. And Penny says it's like the Aurora Borealis. That's right. That's what it looks like. That's what I liked about that. That was super cool. Um, so yes, Annika, drop the link when you get a chance. Everybody who's rooting for Melissa on YouTube Live, go ahead and make sure you vote for DTM. DTM, and that includes you, Christina, Melissa. Oh, of course, that's you, Melissa, Donovan, and Corey, Tony, Art, Unker, all of you. Borderline says both are amazing. Thank you so much. And
Aw.
so I think I like this. This is cool. It just takes a little bit of time for you to maneuver around these ideas.
Yep, it does, and just some practice. But
There you
it's okay.
go.
Even though I'm gonna win today, I can come back anytime and battle you again.
Oh,
Give you another chance.
battle me again. Oh wow, get a rematch.
Get a rematch going.
I get to have a rematch. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. So time to vote is now. Make sure you check the link in the description on the chat, on both chats on YouTube and on Behance. There's my piece. I like it. I do want to, and I'm gonna do some sparkly stuff, some things that light up and turn off. I think that's what I
Nice.
need in my drawing. That's what I want. Boom. The voting is open. I need to click on the link so I can see what the votes are. Where is it? Where is it? Let me see. Let me see. Come on. And and so, in the meantime, tell us more about your streaming. When did you start streaming on Behance, and what moved you to share your process?
I started streaming directly from my iPad a few years ago, and then I got asked to do an Adobe Live, which was really fun. A little over a year ago, I want to say, and then recently was asked to be a featured streamer on Adobe, on Behance.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me a lot more, visibility, and it's been so fun just to connect with people and meet the art family and community here. So yeah, I love streaming. I typically stream off camera on my couch, like at the end of the day, because it's a lot to be on camera. But I'm on camera all day for work, so it's nice to
Oh,
kind of shut it down. But
yes.
then on the weekends, I'll stream on camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So it's like a relaxing kind of thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You got to take art as the experience and the relaxation.
That's right.
Uh huh.
That's right.
And so were you used to streaming before? Had you streamed before you started streaming on Behance?
Um, no, I've done plenty of like artist talks. I've, been a part of nonprofit like pop-up galleries. I've been client facing for a long time, so I'm comfortable on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But, streaming, it's much different streaming on camera and drawing at the same time and like what you do, like managing all the equipment and all that stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a lot going on, but I really do enjoy it, and I just love sharing my art with everybody. So
Yeah. You know what I like about streaming, especially now that Behance has that option, is that it's you don't need a lot of pre-production and then post-production just to put some content out there. You sit down, you go live, you say, "Hey, what's up?" And then if things go wrong, they go wrong. If things go well, they go well. But at the end of the day, it's like you're with a family of artists, like hanging out with a bunch of artists. So yeah, I like that. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, Melissa brought the army. It is I see of the votes right now there's 16 to 7. Melissa got 16 votes. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
snap! Is the
Oh,
voting closed? Did I
no,
win?
it's still happening. It's still happening. We're still
Oh,
voting for the next
okay.
few minutes, and it looks like I'm just gonna have to lay down my king, on my queen on the chessboard. Which one is that? The king. The king. Yeah, because this is amazing. Oh my gosh. Let me click on the live results so I can take a look and see if it changes much. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. It's okay. You guys can vote for Ann Woman, and make sure you follow Ann Woman on Behance and check out the artwork. I like this challenge. I really like the fact that they're mystical, fantasy, you know, characters. I like that. The couple other ideas, where do they come from? And those who download the sketches get to see the rest of the artwork. Tell us about the two other ideas that you had.
So the other ideas were like Warrior Woman, which I like to identify as such. Just been through, breast cancer, came out survivor, and just other things in life. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that, that was kind of where that came from. And then the other one was Fairy Mushroom Princess. I've been watching or I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Brothers lately with my
Uh,
kids and my family, and the mushrooms and the game just kind of inspired me, and Princess Peach inspired me to kind of put all those things together for that last theme.
Yeah. It's that's what I'm not used to. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do here? But I was able to knock out a couple of good sketches. I liked
Yes.
them. They were cool. We posted the artwork up on Instagram and Twitter for people to vote on. And man, everybody loved each piece. Everybody, they wanted us to draw them all.
I love that. Your sketches were great. It was so fun.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It looks like it's 19 to 11. I'm gonna stop counting now. A total of 30 votes so far. Everybody came ready to go. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat in the YouTube. It says Meredith says both are impressive and so different from the same prompt. Really cool. That's right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's the thing about artists, right? So, like, given the artist, if you even gave two different artists the same sketch, the way they would render and finish would be different.
I totally agree. And that's what I love about, this battle is because you have such a different style than me. Doesn't mean that, we both haven't explored each other's styles before and things can't change.
Hmm.
But, it turned out so cool. I love the way yours looks and, they are very different and that's what makes artists unique.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, yes. And so, yeah, after tonight I'm gonna go back in this and put in another 10 hours. Uh, because this is like just adding the animation element it just makes your art like just gives it a little bit of an extra push,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Have you worked in animation projects before? Is that something that you've done as an artist?
So I went to the Art Institute of Houston for 3D animation and design. I wanted to design my own video games, so I did a lot of character design and storyboarding in college. And then being a creative director and an interactive art director, there's been lots of animation, blending in and lots of storyboard work in my creative director job, my last position. So
Hmm.
I've always loved animation. I used to do cell animation in college. Like I've done flip books, like I've done digital and hand drawn animation. So yeah,
Okay.
lots of animation.
Yeah, yeah. So then when Fresco came around and said, hey, you can animate here, you're like, yeah, let's go.
I was like, let's go. Let's do this for
let's
sure.
let's make it happen. This is
Yeah.
great. This is great. Let me see if I can share see the results now. Come on, computer, of course. We're gonna I'm gonna try. There we go. Can I get to this? There we go. Boom. To see what the current number is. I couldn't get in. Let me try this other thing. Thank you very much in the chat. We got Misty in the house. Thank you. Kavendra says both are amazing. Penny says great job all around. They're both stunning pieces. Uma Korn says agreed. Both great works. Clint says they look great. I love Adobe Fresco. Y'all are awesome. Great job. Yeah, tell us out there. What do you like about Adobe Fresco? Have you tried it? Is it working for your drawings? And what kind of art do you have? Make sure that whenever you work on an Adobe app and create some artwork with Adobe, start working on your Behance portfolio. Just go ahead and start filling it in. As time goes on, you can refine it, but it's free. Having a Behance is free. I
It
love it.
is. And Behance is a great art community and I'm on it all the time. And it's hard to keep up your portfolio and keep it updated, but it's definitely worth it.
Yes, yes. It is. It is. And I think there is like a free version of Fresco. So if you wanted to just, don't have to have the Creative Cloud account, remember to pay for it. There's a free version. Behance itself is free. A lot of the artists that we meet and have a great relationship is happens on Behance because you're watching each other's streams and learning from each other. So that's super nice. Let's see. Garrett says, thanks, Melissa, Dan, and Bouncer Annika. Yes, Annika's doing the moderating in the chat. Annika says, thanks, Dan and Melissa, and everyone for watching. Thank you, everybody. Yes, this is great. Check out more of our streams. You said during the week. Is there a particular day in the week when you stream and woman?
Um, Usually it's like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and then on the weekends I'll stream on camera sometimes,
Mm.
but I don't really have a schedule.
Oh,
Sometimes it's just when I have time.
there you go. Just go follow the Behance and get the alerts when they go on. And I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if you check out my streams, you see the Discord where you come and hang out. On Thursdays, we have a movie night. And on the weekends, and the Friday and the weekends, Odari is streaming. So lots of great art, lots of great artists. I want to give everybody, please, everybody, give everybody, Melissa a hand for coming on and showing out. Oh my gosh. There you go. That's right. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to the Melissa Army. You have an army. They came through.
My heart is so full. Thanks so much, everyone. This has been so much fun, and I have been looking forward to doing this, so I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And if you could give us 30 seconds of advice, someone who's looking at this stream, checking out your streams, wants to be an artist, illustrator, animator like you, what should they think about?
One thing I will say is do not sacrifice your own style because you think you need to look like others to make it. Because as soon as you start to do that, it won't work. So
Mm,
stay true to yourself, stay true to your style. Whatever is unique about you is what will make you stand out from the rest.
mm. Awesome. That is great. Great advice. Thank you for that. In the meantime, get ready for more live streams. Okay. We got more, of course, on Behance, but check out the DTM versus live streams happening every 2 weeks. I got a few more contenders coming up, and they're all amazingly talented, just like Ann Woman. Everybody brings the heat, and we have fun hanging out together. Of course, I like the stream better when I win, but it's okay. No.
Oh, well,
It's,
I mean, it's okay because I don't know if you've ever lost. Have you ever lost?
I've lost a couple of times. Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes. So
well, at least you
I'm used
lost
to it.
to a nice person
Oh,
like
there
me.
you go. Right, right. But in 2 weeks, I want your whole army to vote for me.
Okay, we'll be back. We'll be back.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you, Misty, Clint, Annika, D. Let's see, let's see. Elma Corn, thank you for coming through. Kavindra, all of you are awesome for voting and enjoying. Oh, Dari says, thanks, Stan. That's right. Thank you for hanging out. And all of Melissa's army, you guys are super awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am DTM. That is, what's your name?
Melissa?
Melissa and Woman. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you.